In this bonus episode of Fictional Hangover, we talk about eating floor cheese, but not floor blood, immediately regretting would you rather decisions, being okay with being stuck in the 90s, and meeting Ian Somerhalder and touching Jared Padalecki with Amy McCaw, author of Mina and the Undead. Welcome to Fictional Hangover, a podcast about young adult and new adult books, series, authors, and voice actors that is full of spoilers. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire. And today we're going to discuss Mina and the Undead with Amy McCaw.
Is it time?
It's time. It's time.
It's time.
Would you rather? Woo!
I'm so excited! And I'm especially excited because we have a very special guest with us today, which everyone already knew, spoiler alert, because I said it last week, so whatever. We have the author of Mina and the Undead with us today, Amy McCaw. Hooray!
Yay! I'm here.
Hello!
I'm very excited to be here.
Finally.
Thank you. I've been listening for a while. I'm very excited, so finally here.
I feel like I've been stalking you on social media for a very long time as well, so...
I feel like we have.
The
I
same.
feel like we're all here from the very beginning.
You have been.
We've been waiting on this book for so long.
Thank you. Well, I'm sure we'll get into it, but I hope it lived up to your expectations. After all that.
Yeah, it was good. It was pretty much perfect.
Imagine if you'd said, actually, no, that's the end of the podcast. We're done.
Actually, we thought it sucked.
Sucked.
So bye.
Oh.
Ba-dum-bum.
I know.
How many vampire puns can we get into
God.
the next however long we're talking?
We will try as many as we can, and it's down to Constance and Drew, our Patreons, who get the video, to count them.
Yes. Oh, it's gonna be great. So,
On
it's
that
time
vein,
for Would You Rather, and we're very, very excited. Oh no, don't start with the veins already. So excited for Would You Rather.
right, let's get started. So, on social media, we asked, you are going to a vampire and Victor-themed costume party in 1995. Would you rather dress as a character from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Dracula, Interview with the Vampire, or The Lost Boys? Wow, we had a lot of responses to this one. It was amazing. It seems like everybody loves vampires as much as we do, so that's fantastic.
I don't know if that's possible. We're kind of obsessed.
The amount of times we'll say a book can always be improved with a vampire is every week. Okay.
Yeah, I'd say that's true for most books. I'm just thinking Pride and Prejudice plus vampire, Gone with the Wind
Yes.
and a vampire. Yeah,
Yes.
It tracks. I get it.
It's natural. The natural books. So on Facebook, 35% said they're going to dress as Buffy, 10% Dracula, 29% Interview with a Vampire, and 26% Lost Boys. So Buffy won there. On Instagram, Buffy got 42%, Dracula 42%, Interview none.
Boo.
Oh, tiny little Claudia playing the piano in sadness. And Lost Boys got 16%. And on Twitter, Buffy got 45, Dracula 10, Interview 16, Lost Boys 29, so again Buffy wins. And on TikTok, Buffy 54%, Dracula 37%, Interview 3%, and Lost Boys 6%. So again, Buffy wins.
Buffy's just the winner in all ways.
It's easy
shapes, and forms.
costuming though.
Yeah, it depends on whether people thought we meant the TV show Buffy, because I feel like I could get behind TV show Buffy's outfits, but movie Buffy's a little bit suspect with the fashion choices.
Purple lycra and yellow cheerleader outfit.
Yep, a prom dress cut at the knee, big puffy shoulders, leather jacket on top.
Leather jacket though. Oh yeah.
No, see, I would definitely wear that. I
Yeah.
would just wear that every day anyway.
Yes.
But
And
I didn't vote Buffy.
No.
And I just confess, neither did I, because I was thinking movie Buffy, so I went I was trying to be true to the book. Buffy the series wasn't out when the book was written.
Right.
So I went for, in case you can't tell from my top, can you guess? Lost Boys.
Of course.
Who doesn't want to dress like a Kiefer Sutherland vampire? I could maybe slightly do without the mullet, but I could try it. Maybe I could get there.
The mullet's like the selling point.
Yeah, I suppose it's just the black leather,
Totally
you know,
did.
all the chains, and you get to hang out with Michael, who, you know, has probably been one of my crushes since I first watched the film. Sigh.
He's an absolute asshole as well. Like, you got to be an absolute asshole. If you're dressing the part, you've got to act the part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
having that freedom. Nice. Amanda, what about you?
I went Dracula
Mhm.
because I love Gary Oldman in his almost stovepipe hat with his tiny little steampunk glasses. And I really, I'm this close to just saying, well, that's what I'm going to dress up as. That's going to be my cosplay for this week, just because I already have that hat.
Yes.
But, I mean, and then I could draw on a goatee. It would be really
Can I
good,
vote for
but I'll have
Can
to
I
save
vote
it.
for that too? Because I don't know if you can see him. Oh, you can. He's on my top shelf. I have a little tiny Gary Oldman in his top hat.
I see him. I
Yeah,
love him.
Can I also draw attention as well, Amanda, to when we were playing Animal Crossing and we used to visit each other's islands and we got dressed as vampires that time? And there is a picture of it, and I'm not going to say anything else. I will post it on social media once this episode goes up, and it's just chef's kiss. It's perfection.
Aww.
It's amazing. You know exactly which one I'm talking about, Amanda, so I'm going to post that, and that's going to be a little treat for you and Amy when you get to see it. I'm going to post that on, tag you in, because it's so much fun. We went Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
I did do a little cheer. I got the vampire costume on Animal Crossing, and normally they give me like these really pretty clothes, which aren't particularly me. And I got the vampire costume the other day, and I was like, yes, finally, an outfit that reflects my soul.
I 100% wear Halloween costumes now at all times, and I haven't changed my skin tone since October on Animal Crossing. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I was thinking Dracula as well, but I'm gonna go interview just so I can do that attitude of the start with the pulling out of the lace cuffs and be like, and also be an asshole.
Yeah.
There's a theme, and you know the bad wig would be a bonus as well, like the wigs that kind of slide around when they're acting and like take on a life of their own as the film goes on.
Exactly, but to be fair, I mean that is my lockdown hair. It's wickedly tied back now, but that would be my lockdown hair except it doesn't move around quite so much. So I'll probably just stay true to myself.
My lockdown hair is sort of Rapunzel at the minute. Like my hair's basically down to my waist now. I've just gone full on Disney princess.
Same. Me too. It goes
Yeah.
forever. This up here, fake. It's my hair twisted up and clipped in a very precarious way so I can have, sweet 90s hairsprayed pokey out hair.
I do appreciate the 90s hair. I remember that, like the back combing and spraying the spikes at the back of the hair, the butterfly clips pinned in.
Oh yeah. I'm just sad that I don't have actual butterflies in my clips. They're just regular clips.
need
It's the
bats.
closest I could get. I do need bats. Oh, I need them.
The 90s hairstyle I always remember, and I don't know if this was just the UK or possibly just the Northeast, was the fringes. And you needed 2 cans of hairspray. One to put under, and the other one to actually spray the hairspray. They were huge. And if you didn't have another kind of hairspray, you used a kind of cork.
Brilliant.
They were massive. And I actually do know I went to school with somebody who had a complete skinhead, except he had a curled fringe.
I do remember that. There were boys.
It was
sort of a thin fringe, though. The Doncaster fringe for boys was like shaved head and then a thin kind of straggly stranded fringe at the front. It was lovely.
That's just,
And girls, we used to have
that's just
so scraped
sexy.
back ponytail and long thin strand of hair on either side at the front.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh, yep.
Yep, there you go.
I thought about doing that hairstyle for today, but I went with
And if you
bleach
bleached it
instead.
blonde too, that was true commitment to the style. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
And ruffles. You used to have about 16 million ruffles in your ponytail. Apparently you could communicate with them, but I don't know the secret language of ruffles.
We communicated in the United States with the jelly bracelets.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, we need to get on with Would You Rather. Do we have any comments we need to share?
We do. I've pulled some. So, from Twitter, Scorpio BK Dreams on Twitter, the fashion in Buffy is pretty iconic. Hashtag Team Mina. We've got another hashtag Team Mina as well, because this one, at Noelle_Kelly on Twitter. I'd love to rock a Claudia outfit. Hashtag Team Mina.
That's very good. That's very good. Jennifer on Facebook said, I would love to try to make Mina's costume when she comes upon Vlad in the city streets. It would be time-consuming, but the process of creating while imagining the historical passion and tragedy between Vlad and Mina would probably have an omniscient rhythm I couldn't resist.
Wow, that's a really thoughtful answer. That's like university level vampire costuming answer. I'm impressed.
Jennifer always has very thoughtful comments. She doesn't pop on very often, but when she does, it's...
Yeah, that's great. I love that.
You should see Coral's Facebook post. Do you have that one there as well, Amanda?
Yes, Coral on Facebook said, have to go with The Lost Boys. Growing up, that was one of my first vampire movies, and a couple of years ago, got to meet some of the cast from that movie, and it was pretty amazing. And then she posted a picture with Jason Patrick and Kiefer Sutherland, and I was just dying.
It's amazing.
It's Kiefer Sutherland.
They had noodles.
I like the jealousy now. Can you see it like radiating into the screen? I think I've just turned green right there. Oh man.
Oh, honestly.
That's ace. Oh gosh, another 90s word. All the 90s things are coming out of me now. What else will I say?
So naff. Naff. That's just naff.
Don't we say Mardy? That was one that we used to say as well. Mardy. Do people still say Mardy?
I don't think that came up this far.
Oh yeah, Mardy. I discovered that was only a Yorkshire word when I went on holiday, and all the people from near London were like, who? What? Where? Are you insulting us? Mardy is like you're being kind of grumpy and moody. That was our one of our 90s words.
I like that. Can I bring it
Yeah,
over
take
here?
it. Take it from the 90s and Yorkshire to... What state do you live in?
Thanks.
Washington.
Yeah, Seattle. So, I really should be grunge right now, but sorry. Drew Barrymore instead.
Drew Barrymore did grunge really well, so I approve.
She did. She did.
Approve. Shall we move on to the next question?
Oh, yes. Yes, we should. Would you rather go on a tour of the horror movie mansion or go on a horror-themed scavenger hunt on Bourbon Street?
See, if I was in the book, neither, because I like being alive and not tormented by sadistic vampires. In real life, I want to go on both, really, but if I absolutely have to pick, probably the mansion, because Sandy, I feel like she's put so much money and time. You know, she's had a long time to get that mansion right. And I really like all the touches. I had a lot of fun writing things like the wallpaper that has children's handprints kind of hidden behind it, the bear trap, which if I get to write a sequel, the bear trap lights will come into play, I think.
Nice.
So yeah, I really enjoyed all the little details of the mansion. I like the idea of walking through horror movies and people jumping at me. And I like the drama of some of it, that it's like a theatre show, and then I like the full-on scares of the other parts. So yeah, I think that's the one I'd go for. How about you two?
You see, if I went on the horror-themed scavenger hunt, I would go full costume, because you have to. But I love those haunted tour things. So probably the horror movie mansion, because Sandy has done justice. She's got completely extra on that place. And then I would go out and go, can I have a job, please? Simple as.
I think I would rather just go on a regular tour of Bourbon Street, because, like, the places that they went, I don't know if I want to go and hang out. I mean, like, the pharmacy museum, sure, that's fine. That's really cool. My husband's a pharmacist. Let's go hang out there. But I don't know about that grungy old diner. I don't want to go in there. I don't want to go in some rundown, apartment building with mannequins tied up. No. I would be afraid that I would fall through the stairs. So I'm going to go with the mansion, but really I would just rather work there.
Yeah.
I want to be there. I want to work there. I'm moving into the mansion.
Can we then, before going and joining the delights of Bourbon Street, go on a vampire ghost tour of New Orleans?
Of course.
Because I love those. I adore ghost tours and vampire tours and all that kind of thing. I adore them. So I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I did several when I was there and I loved it. And I don't think the tour guides ever had anybody ask so many questions before. Ooh, what does that room do? Tell me more. Tell me all the dirty details. I want to know. What's behind that
I
door?
can relate.
What about the Voodoo Tours? Did you do any of those? Those are
Yeah,
good
I
too.
think we did 2 or 3, and some of them were a mixture of things, and I don't remember which was which. It all kind of blended together, but there was definitely a blend of ghosts, vampires, voodoo. And I think one of the great things about New Orleans is just there's such a rich history, rich mythology, and all of those things. Like they've come from all over the world. Like they've come from France and Africa and different parts of the United States, and it's just fascinating how it's this blend of cultures and stories, and it's come out as vampires. Like it's great.
They certainly keep it all alive as well, and they're very respectful of everybody's different histories and
Yes.
diversities. I've never been to New Orleans. It is on my bucket list, but that's certainly, as an outsider looking in, the perception that I get.
Yeah, I did a lot of research, and obviously when I was there as a tourist, it's a different feel, and you don't necessarily get to hear that much about the culture. But reading it, I think there's a lot of celebration, and people are very proud of their heritage, and they are very keen to point out the issues with heritage as well. And obviously the slavery and the Civil War, and some of the stories aren't particularly pleasant. So I was quite mindful of that when I was writing the book. The kind of prejudices that came through was something that I tried to avoid. If it was stories that were based in that, I twisted them to my own, because I was writing my own versions of their myths. So I kept that in mind too.
It was excellent. It was really well done. I wanted to find out more about the myths and legends, and I wanted to have a look at Jared's library.
I know.
Oh, hey, that's a perfect segue into our next question.
I was like, we planned it. We didn't, in case anyone's wondering.
Would you rather read Wayne Carter's journal or Jared's collection of New Orleans
A
mythology?
lot of the questions I wanted to answer both, but on this one, definitely Wayne Carter's journal. Because I don't know whether you can see my vampire shelf, but I have a whole shelf of New Orleans and vampires books, and I feel like I can lay my hands on that if I want it. But a vampire's diary about serial killers that are also vampires. It's really weird. I know that I can use spoilers. I'm trying really hard not to. So serial killer vampire diary, I think all the way, because it's real, and getting an insight into that I think would be fascinating.
It's a primary source.
Exactly.
You have to want the primary source. It's the best option. You need the primary source.
Just cite your references when you do your dissertation on it.
Yes. Librarian. Cite the sources. Take the primary source. Yes.
I would like to write more of those. So there were quite a few diary entries that did not make the final cut. And I would like to write more of them. And I haven't actually talked to my publisher about it, so I probably should talk to them first. But I would like there maybe to be a novella of diary entries. I think that would be cool, because you've got such a history to span between 1932 when the original diary entries were written and 1995 when the newer entries came to light. I think there's quite a lot of history there that I could go into.
Well, while we're talking sequels that haven't yet been authorised,
Yes.
can I throw in what I mentioned to Amanda that I would like in our discussion? I want a novella or full story about Sandy.
Yes.
I need it. I need the full thing. I need it from being kidnapped to escaping to living with her, forever looking over her shoulder, thinking that she's safe, but is she really? To her turning. I need it all. I need a Sandy. And then can it be turned into a movie and actually have Sandy Newton starring in it, because that's who I
Yeah, I'm really sorry that I just stole Sandy Newton's whole look and name. I think that she was a bit of an inspiration. I adore Sandy Newton, and I tried to rename the character and I just couldn't do it. Like, she was Sandy, and yeah. So if Sandy Newton...
To be fair though, Sandy Newton is also in Interview with a Vampire.
Yes.
So...
she's pretty much perfect in every way.
She is. And the second thing that I need and or want is, and this may be fanfic, I want Della, 10 years in the future, to be a grizzled vampire hunter.
Vampire hunter, you say?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that would make it better is if she's a vampire hunter. You know how we feel about vampire hunters. So let's turn her first, and then she gets pissed about it, and then she goes off on a killing spree.
But then I really wouldn't mind some kind of conflicted love, like Buffy Angel kind of conflict love story where she falls in love with a vampire. And then there might be an accidental turning to save her life.
Oh. Ooh, that would be good too. That would be good too.
And
So
it's not
many good
necessarily
things.
with Libby. Sorry, Libby.
I know. That's what I was just thinking. Like, that sounds great if we just kind of axe the sister.
Libby's moved on as well with her life. You know, they were young. They don't always stay together.
You're just going to have me writing these books for the next, 20 years, aren't you? Just to kind of fill in all the gaps that I left.
Hey, I can keep
Yeah.
the employment going.
Yeah, if somebody will pay me to write
Yeah.
those, I'm all for it.
And then
We'll buy them, all of them.
exactly, Netflix can get on and we'll do all the casting because we're really good at that as well.
Yes,
For
but we
the
also have to
series.
be background characters. It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be the tour guides.
Yes.
Oh, come this way.
Can I just be like a bloody corpse in the background?
Always.
That's all I want. That's all I want in life, in any way, shape, or form, except for in real life. Like, I don't want to actually be a corpse in the background, but I want to pretend to be a corpse in the
You could be the attic corpse, couldn't you? You could be Heather. You could be tied to a chair and bleeding all over the floor if you wish.
Yeah, you know, that I have some cosplay ideas, and that was one of them. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be that one, or if it's going to be Mina as Claudia after the dance party with askew wig.
Yeah, that sounds so cool. I kind of think you could play Veronica as well,
That's what I said.
That's what Claire
But
said.
Veronica with an
the only
axe.
problem with that is that if anybody doesn't want to see a spoiler, that's fairly explicit, isn't it? Because she kind of intentionally is this character who's not in it much. And if you have an axe, that might be a bit.
Yeah.
But we've done spoiler cosplay as
Yeah.
well. You just see the picture and you kind of brush over and go, oh, who is this
Okay.
character? Why is Rose Hathaway in Vampire Academy walking away from the academy? I don't know yet.
I loved that. I kind of think the Mr. Tree not casting you in that movie, honestly. But there you go. Not that I'm sure that was ever a thing, but I'm sorry, I'm not starting rumours that you got passed over.
I mean, if you
They
start
were going to
them,
cast you as
maybe
Dimitri,
it'll come
but they
true.
went with the other one instead.
I wasn't doughy enough.
Yeah.
For Dimitri. Man, fuck that doughy bastard. Okay, sorry. Excuse
Are we
me.
all Wayne Carter's journal? Let's clarify.
Yes, I am.
Because we can
Definitely.
Google New Orleans mythology. We're going to dive into the
Yes.
journal.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Cool.
Okay. Next question. Would you rather have John's vampire power or Wayne's?
I think they'd both destroy your life, wouldn't they? Because if you could read people's thoughts and sort of see the future and the past, but in a really crap way that you don't know which is which, I think it would send you slowly mad. And I think that John's power just has no capacity to be used for good. So as soon as you can change other people's actions and behavior and shape them to your liking, I think that you're going to go down a dark path. So I think I'd have to go for Wayne's and deal with the kind of crap nature of the power and the pictures of other people's stories in your head all the time, because at least you could maybe try to use that for good if you chose.
See, I thought John compelled Wayne to not be able to do his for his powers to work effectively, so Wayne could then use them against John. But if they are
I wish I'd thought about it that
Mm.
much. I didn't really. That's just how they were in my mind. I imagined a mental power, like the human brain being so complex that I just felt like it would be a complex process. Whereas I think John's power is, I don't know, I've thought about this a lot, but John's power is more about kind of just a simple severing of free will. So free will is gone and he kind of takes over. And I saw Wayne's as being a bit more you have to tap into a lot of different parts of the way people think, wouldn't you? Their short-term memory, long-term memory, the future, it's all quite kind of slippery. So I think that's why his power was a bit more slippery as well. But I like your theory too. That's cool.
See, compelling people and making them do my bidding. Sold.
Right?
I'm
I
going to
don't-
the
it's
dark
not
side.
even-
We have cookies. Blood
Right?
cookies.
It's not even a question.
No.
Villain.
You two are the
immediately.
evil
Yeah.
vampires. I'm the one who's trying to go on a journey of redemption, which means I'm Angel,
Sorry.
doesn't it? That's crap. Oh no. Oh, I do like Angel, but he's no Spike. I'm sure that can come up later in the conversation when we get to the vampire stuff. But yeah, damn, I'm Angel. I'm so disappointed with myself. And Stefan a little bit
Go
on.
and brood in the
I
corner.
know.
Go and brood somewhere.
Yeah.
And
I'm on near the end of season
torment
5 of
is
Vampire
so-
Diaries, and Stephanie's sighing so much. I'm like, come on, kill somebody, please. Stop sighing.
I like it when Stefan goes
Yeah,
bad.
so do I.
like Damien because he's like, Lestat, the Damiens, those kind of vampires. They're like, I'm an apex predator, bitch. Gives
Yeah.
the bit.
Yeah, deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Damon. Can I just disappear for a minute?
I think we need a minute. Yeah, okay.
We're
Back
not
in the
there
room.
yet.
Back
I
in
was
the room.
gonna
Back
say,
in the room.
Come back to that.
I've got some
Come back
vampire
to that.
stories to tell you, but I'll save it for the vampire segment of the discussion.
Okay.
Last
Okay,
question then. Would you rather turn into a vampire, leaving your family behind, or stay with your loved ones, knowing you will never be a child of the night?
See, I talked to my husband about this because, serious question. And I just couldn't like think of the idea of going off on my own, like without the people that I love. I just can't do it. If I could have them forever with me, yes. I mean, you guys saw my baby beforehand. He would make a terrible vampire. So bad. So evil.
We don't
no.
we don't turn Claudius.
Yeah, that would just be
No,
bad.
no.
So yeah, I'd have to stay human if that is the choice. I can't take them, like age him to 18 and then have him turn with me. Like, I just, can't do it.
Oh, I just got a flash from Breaking Dawn, like throwing the baby into the fire. Don't throw the baby into the fire. Don't do it.
As soon as you say Breaking
throw the
Dawn,
baby
I
into
just
the
think
fire.
CGI baby face, like, and it's
Oh my god, it's the scariest thing ever, especially if you look at stills. Like, it's a
It's
nightmare.
just-
I think, isn't it a composite of
Oh.
Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson, like, it superimposed on CGI baby is horrifying.
It's nightmare
It's a
fuel,
nightmare.
whatever
Yeah.
it is.
It's a nightmare. Oh. Remind me to ask you if you've taken the obscure background character quiz
Oh, I
from
forgot
Twilight.
about that. I can't remember who I was.
It's so good. Have you seen this quiz? You
I
need to
don't think
take
I
it.
have done that, or I did and I blocked it out because I wasn't happy with the result,
Oh.
like the Harry Potter quizzes, which we won't
Oh.
discuss. But yeah.
We'll have to share that one again, Claire.
Yeah, do. I'd love
We
to
will.
do that.
We will. Okay, Amanda, are you turning into a vampire or
Yes.
not?
Why do we even ask? Why do we even ask? Yes, I'm a vampire. Immediately.
Now you see, I'm torn. I have
No
the
question.
I have the desire to be a vampire, but I also love my family. But if I turn into a vampire, then I can turn them into a vampire later on.
Yeah, I suppose the question did not say that you couldn't wait a reasonable period of time. Like, I could wait the 17 years to age my child to not be an evil baby ankle biting vampire.
You
We are the
could, and you would be exactly the same, and then they would grow up, and it would be fine.
Exactly.
Turn them.
Yeah, I changed my answer.
Join
would you
us.
we are the master of our destinies, and would you rather? You can create whatever mythology you want behind it. So I'm turning into a vampire, and when Child has said, well, nothing as long as he's not, horrible, he can turn too.
Well, then use your mind powers and make him less horrible.
Yes! That's right! I forgot I'm an evil vampire with mind powers.
Oh, well, I've done this really badly, so I've got terrible, like, rubbish
You're
future scene
terrible.
powers, and I'm not a vampire. How did I end up with that? Oh, I'm playing this game all wrong.
Wait,
Sorry.
this isn't our first rodeo.
You're not going to invite me back, are you, with answers like these? Oh,
Oh, now you know the crack. You
Yeah.
can, you work it out. Yeah.
I'm catching up.
Or we'll invite you back just to laugh at your
Yeah,
terrible
this is
mistakes.
it. I am like, it's funny, people at work, when I said I was getting a book published, they're like, about unicorns and fairies, yes. I'm like, no, it's about murder and blood and vampires. So I think I'm like fluffy unicorns on the surface and then kind of dark vampires beneath. So I think you're getting all the fluffy unicorn answers now. Sorry, I'll try and find them.
Just
Aw.
gore someone with your
Yeah,
unicorn
and then
horn, and then
yeah.
you'll be fine.
Yeah, there's always the option. I did say that to the girl at work. I was like, what kind of unicorns do you mean? Like evil zombie unicorns? In which case, yeah, I'd probably write that.
It's like,
And then
little
we
do
will
you
read it.
know.
No, actually, even as I said evil zombie unicorns, I'm like, oh, could I?
Yes. The answer is yes.
Zombie corn.
Yes, definitely.
That's terrible. Forget I said that.
That sounds like a snack you go to the cinema for, one of those horror all-nighters
It
that
does.
you go to. And it would
I
all be
was gonna
different
say-
colours.
I was gonna say zombie corn definitely needs to be a shirt now.
Yeah.
Taking a note. Zombie corn happening.
I'm going to write it. That's it. Just think of a better title.
No. Can zombie corn be like the subtitle?
Maybe.
It needs to be involved. It does.
Okay. Zombie corn.
Note taken. Very good. So that's the end of Would You Rather.
I loved Would You Rather. I didn't play it very well, but I feel like I understand it now we've got to the end.
Next time it'll be better. Just for future reference, anyone listening, anyone who ever joins us for Would You Rather, always choose the absolute worst option and make it as terrible as possible.
But it works for you.
Yes.
You've just got to... See, we always remember we are the masters of our own destiny when we do these, so that's why we make it work.
Clever, I did not think that through. I want to come back and do this with Dawn and Kat and see what kind of answers they give. I feel like they would be able to take the dark path very well.
Oh,
and they do.
They do.
We need to have another horror special this October.
Yes, please. As long as I can come.
We really do.
Be invited. I'm inviting myself.
Yeah.
Oh, you're always
Thank
invited.
you.
Every author who's ever been on has a standing invitation. Just turn up. It's fine.
I will remember.
There's a special place in our heart where we store all of the goriest, horrorist, monsters, and that's where they all belong. Yeah. And they all get to come back and they get special treatment because we love them.
Aww.
Yes. And if the book we're discussing doesn't have 5 gory, we'll bring in questions from other books. Just to ask. I'm thinking the Monstrumologist because I can still smell those questions.
You can't not talk about the Monstrumologist when you're talking about horror. It's just so good. And gross.
I don't know what you're talking
about. You haven't read The Monstrumologist by Rick Yancey?
No.
Oh.
I feel like I need to. Is that my homework from the session? I'll go away and read.
There will be a quiz at the end. If you want to cheat, I can recommend a podcast.
Yes. If you check fictionalhangover.com/summaries, you'll find at least a 20-minute summary of it. Written out. You can read it and pretend that you've read it.
I know I want to read it. I did that when I read Harrow Lake. I then went and read your summary, and I was like, wow, that actually really helps to read a summary after you've read a really complex book.
Oh, Harrow Lake was so good.
Wait till you read Wicked Little Deeds. Mwahaha. Says the person who's read 90% of Wicked Little Deeds.
It's killing me not knowing what the cover looks like, and I need to have the US and the UK version.
Obviously.
I'm going to have to stage some kind of book fight.
I've got Burden Falls over here, so sorry guys, you're gonna have to send me.
You will get the book care package of the UK editions of stuff, and you need to send me the US edition.
So is it still called Burden Falls over in the States then, and Wicked Little Deeds in the UK? I don't know why that happens. Like the Mary Shelley Club. Did you read The Last Girls or / the Mary Shelley Club? Because that is different. So it's the Mary Shelley Club in the States, and The Last Girl in the UK. That it just came out in April. You two would like it. It's a club. A club that plays pranks based on horror films. Yes, it's good.
Ooh. Oh well, yeah. That's we're all over that. I think I might have that on my to be read list.
Yeah, it's really good.
I cannot remember what's on my TBR.
Yeah. I feel like, but I didn't know about the other title for it, which is apparently my title. I only know the UK title.
What's the UK title? The Mary Shelley Club?
So the US one, I believe, is the Mary Shelley Club because I have The Last Girl. So I'm assuming that I was sent the UK edition. So yeah.
It's clear that all of my favorite horror authors are from the UK because that's what I have. Only the UK editions. That's all
we do good horror in the UK.
Amy, you can come on our eventual ghost hunt that we're going to make Cat and Dog come on
please.
To as well.
Yes.
We're going to spend the night in a haunted house.
Yes, please. I would love that. I am the person who went down into the Edinburgh vaults, and everybody's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Just listening in this corner for a minute by myself in the dark. Is that okay?" And they're like, "Okay, will you be there? We'll be here in the lights of the torch." Yeah.
I like the corner of the vaults where there was the angry woman who hates women, and especially pregnant women. And this was years ago. I went to Edinburgh. I've been on the tours millions of times. And they kept going, "What? Don't go over there if you're a woman. Don't go over there." And I'm like, "Went over there? Or Mr. Boots? Because I'm convinced that, you know how you have people who can pick ghosts up, so, you know, they've got psychic mediums, so they're receptive. I think there's people who are nulls, who it never happens, nothing will ever happen to them, and if a ghost was to come in their vicinity, it would just stop, and I'm convinced I'm one of those, because I have never had anything freaky or spooky happen to me. Apart from when I was a kid, my bedroom door used to close by itself without any draft. It was one of these where it would wedge into the carpet. But I would say, Dad, can you close the door? And it would close. And that's it. That is the spookiest things that ever happened
Kind of
to me.
spooky. And like kids are supposed to be more prone to that kind of thing, aren't they? Like open to supernatural energies because they believe and don't know to be cynical like some adults.
Oh, it's great when kids start describing the deceased grandparents and what they said to you, and you're like, there's no such thing as ghosts. If you're a ghost, go away, stop harassing my house.
That's kind of where I am with the whole belief in ghosts thing. Like, I don't believe in them, but...
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I once stayed in hotels. This is the kind of thing I do. I'm a bit obsessed with Westerns, and we stayed in California in a hotel that used to be a Civil War hospital. And that was the only time that I got really scared and thought there was a ghost at the door, because my husband was in the car park below. You know, those motels that like have the doors that open out to the front. So I saw him go down into the car park, and there was a really loud, obnoxious knock at the door. I fling the door open thinking it's him. Nobody there. Car park deserted except for my husband getting the suitcase out of the car. So yeah, I think a Civil War ghost might have knocked on the door. But that, and I don't think I believe in ghosts, but there is just that slight nagging hint of doubt that maybe.
Yeah. Do you remember years ago there was an earthquake in the UK? It was like really mild and it was down south. And I'm in the northeast, and we got nothing except my washing was precariously balanced on a box and it fell off. And my instant thing was, shit, it's ghosts!
Was it?
And my husband was like, Claire, really? I went, well, what else could it be? Earthquake's not going to be top of my list. I'm in the UK, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I don't remember. It woke us up. We got like drawers kind of bang. I think our drawers like slid out and banged in or something like that. And we both shot up. Like, I thought plane had hit the house. I went kind of Donnie Darko with my theory. Like, you know, an airplane engine must have come out and landed. Yeah.
Yeah. Amanda, did you go to the hotel from The Shining? Or am I making that up?
Yeah, I did.
I did. That hotel.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a
did anything
about it.
happen there?
No, there was nothing creepy that happened. It was a very delightful place, but I think probably my favorite haunted hotel is the one that's in Eureka Springs in Arkansas, you know, where I grew up. So, you know, the Crescent Hotel is where you need to go. And I think just recently, within the past couple of years, they've dug up jars with body parts outside of it. Yeah, so it's the place to go.
Crescent Hotel. I feel like I'm going to need notes after this podcast of things I need to read, place I need to go.
Yeah, you need to go. You need to go to the Crescent. It's fantastic.
Mint.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ghost tour everywhere. We need to start one of those like Ghost Adventures Most Haunted style programs. Except that we'll just like do the podcast at every haunted location as well.
Yeah.
So it ties in. We could do spooky books. It'll be a spooky book season.
Did you know Kat's new book has Wicked Little Deeds has a ghost hunting TV show angle?
Yes. I'm so excited. Excited.
I don't know if that's a spoiler. I'm really sorry if it is. It's not a huge part of the storyline.
We're gonna spoil it anyway.
That's true. That is true, and it's amazing. I am having so much fun, and I'm at that point now where I've nearly finished it, and I don't want to finish it. So I've got this 10%, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going to happen. I kind of want to stay there, but yeah, it's really good.
So jealous.
There are some books. You just need to write your own horror book. Both of you. I bet you've got it there somewhere.
I need to publish my fanfic.
Do that. Lots of authors have done that.
At least every other week we'll come up with something. The thing is, though, for the Dead House, the fanfic for that is literally like a page. That's the story I've come up with, and that's it.
Well, you just need to write the story beforehand. Change it. You can't write Dawn's story again.
It'll be dedicated to her. Just the one story.
I feel like Dawn would love that.
Just a panning out. Well, she already knows it. I've told her it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
let's delve into some more stuff.
Let's do some other things. tell us about your publishing journey since, brand new book. What's it like being like a month out from release date? And is there a US edition with a different title that I need to buy?
Okay, so the journey for this book started in 2012 when I went to New Orleans, and I knew I was going to write a book about it. I loved the stories and the fact that history and fact and myth all merges together into this really interesting, like people say, I know somebody who saw the Comte de Saint-Germain, who's this kind of historical figure / vampire. I don't know why I'm explaining. I know you guys probably know this, but for anybody who doesn't know. And I love the fact that people tell these stories as if they're their own family history. So that was my starting point. And then in 2016, I figured out that it was going to be a story about sisters, and I knew I had to write it that way. So I did that 2016-17, and in 2018, I did something called Write Mentor, which, if anybody's thought about writing a book, is an amazing community of authors, people trying to get agents. And I did that, got an agent, and then the next year we went out on submission, and I got a book deal pretty quickly after going out on submission by publishing standards anyway. But then I had to wait nearly 2 years for the book to come out. So in typical publishing fashion, it goes in like flurries of incredible activity where you're super busy and everything happens, and then a year where nothing happens and you can't talk about anything. And it's interesting. And I think probably I didn't pick this time to be published, and I didn't kind of start the pandemic or anything. But I think it's probably one of the worst times historically to publish a book, when there were no bookshops open for me to see it. That was like pretty special. And have a baby during the pandemic as well. I think I managed to kind of do.
So you decided to challenge yourself.
Yeah, I thought that having a baby wasn't difficult enough, and writing a book, I just kind of went full on pandemic with both of those things. So yeah, it's been interesting, but I think because of the pandemic, I've had this lovely, that you two were part of, this online community of people who really came together. And Team Mina, I think there were 50, 60 people in the end who were tweeting and bookstagramming and just being really lovely about my book. And a lot of them hadn't even read the book when they first started, and they just kind of did it to support me, which was really lovely. And now the book is out. These people like you are still supporting me, and people are still retweeting and sharing their reviews, and it's lovely. It feels like the online community and independent bookshops have just been amazing to kind of stand behind a little debut author and her little scary book.
The team Mina has been really wicked. Thank you for inviting us to join as well, because
definitely, yes.
It's been really fun to actually feel a part of like helping you debut your book and get our creative juices going and really think about like how we were going to like support every week. And I remember we were talking about the cosplay and going, Amanda, come on, this is yours. This is your week. You are going to win this. You need to showcase all of your horror cosplay. Just go for it.
Every single week though, you two were amazing. Like anytime I saw Scully Joe, I was like, I can't give you another copy of the book. Like, come on, like just look at him, look at that face. It was the one where he was looking at my book on the screen of the computer. I was just like, so impressed with his creativity. I mean, Scully Joe, to say he doesn't have a physical brain is a genius.
He's amazing.
We love Scully Joe.
He's very photogenic.
We love Scully Joe.
And I'm actually surprised by how small he is. I wasn't sure, from the perspective of, until I saw him holding my book, I was like, oh, he's a baby skeleton. He's so small.
If I could get one of those 40-foot skeletons from America,
yeah.
I totally would.
Scully Joe house. Like the head in the upstairs and the body in the downstairs. Yeah, I think you should do that. Take a whole room out.
Is that what I need? Is that what I need to send you in my next care package? A giant skeleton? That's all.
I need some more Laffy Taffy and a giant skeleton.
Laffy Taffy.
Okay.
It's like Starburst, except flatter and gooier. So you do chew them a bit longer. It literally got me through one of my university assignments.
Wow. So have you two been friends for a really long time?
No. We've never met.
Really?
No.
Oh, can we not set this up? Come on. Let's do it.
I know. That's why we have our coffee and our Patreon. Like, any money that comes to us is like going in a little pot. Like, okay, whichever one gets enough money first, like to pay for the flight, that's how it's happening. But no, I started this podcast in 2018 with a different co-host, and we invited Claire on because she started stalking us on social media and answering all of our Would You Rather questions, and she always had the very best Would You Rather answers. Okay, what's Claire going to say this time? What's Claire going to say this time? I'm so excited. And then, so we invited her on to talk about a book that I knew that she would like. And then after my first co-host decided she was done, I was like, hey, Claire, hey, I know this is really weird, but do you want to be my co-host? And she was like, yes. It's magic.
That is the strangest coffee breakfast I've ever had. I literally was like, I've been asked to co-host a podcast.
I love that so much. And I'm really sorry that my brain went in the direction of what happened to the original co-host. Like, Claire came on the podcast and suddenly the co-host disappears, the original one.
Oh, not again. Your rumors keep going.
I'm really sorry. You're going to end this with, like, all these stories that you're going to have to explain away. Like, how you didn't get cast in Vampire Academy, and now this.
Yes, but I was so happy that Claire was like, yeah, of course. Of course I will. And we've been BFFs ever since.
I can tell. I love listening. I think listening to two friends who love something as much as each other, and just, I don't know, as soon as you find somebody who has mutual appreciation, I knew that you two were going to be like me when I first listened to your podcast with Dawn. I was like, I'm one of you. I know I am already. And
you're part of our family.
Yeah, and it's really weird, isn't it? How I think genre fiction does that more than anything else. Like, when I think of, as soon as you mention Buffy to the right person, you can be best friends, like Buffy is enough to form a relationship around, and it's also enough to end a relationship if they say, what's Buffy? Like, that could be the end of the conversation. Like, okay,
yeah, just turn around and walk away.
No.
Oh.
Do a Spike and back off, just flipping him off.
I love that gif. Was it on your thing the other day when somebody accidentally used that gif? They were like, I'm really sorry. I just swore at you all. Oh, no. And I just thought it was really funny.
That was perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah. You can tell that they have never listened to our show and like all of the garbage that comes out of our mouths and how much I'm pretty sure, Claire, I flip you off at least once a month.
Yeah, we had to stop actually doing that, and now it's the finger down.
Yes.
Just to be remotely polite. Last week, though, if I say this name, I'm going to see if a reaction happens. Victor Dashkov.
That guy. Fucking goddamn son of a bitch. That's Victor Dashkov right there.
I love it.
That's quite a reaction.
We've had a request for that shirt, so I have to make it too. Someone's gonna buy it. At least one fucking goddamn son of a bitch Victor Dashkov shirt's gonna sell.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Anyway, jeez. So is there gonna be a US book with a different title and cover?
The answer is I hope so. There is no current US edition, and we're on submission over there. I think we wanted the book to come out over here first, and then obviously COVID happened and publishing kind of slowed down quite considerably, even slower than it usually is. So I hope there will be. But people, the Book Depository, I found out today that my book is a bestseller for the first time on Book Depository. Thank you.
Well
and
done.
I think they might just be people from America and Canada keep saying to me that they love the sound of the book and they've just ordered it from there. So I think that if it doesn't get published over in the US, there are still ways of getting your hands on it.
Yeah, 2 people need to. I'm just sending them copies.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's like, if you look at the Amazon link from the United States, it goes to like a weird Sudoku.
Oh yeah, we had this problem where this really wholesome children's Sudoku book. This is what Amazon accidentally does, like linked my book to this weird Sudoku book. I don't know how. So at one point it said it was suitable for age 0+. I was like, okay. So obviously they haven't fixed the American one yet, but it was the UK one that had the problem, and it got linked to the Kindle. And also my Kindle edition initially went into erotica. So that's how Amazon chose to categorize my book. I'm like, there's some fairly steamy kissing, but I wouldn't go so far as erotica,
The blood den could have gone a little bit further.
Yeah.
But those curtains.
Yeah.
So...
I think a lot of it had to remain curtained. We are dealing with YA, and mostly adults are reading the book, but there are some real teenagers reading it. So my 13-year-old neighbour's reading it, and I keep thinking, oh, the word fuck is in there a lot. I'm really sorry to her mum. And her mum hasn't read it first to check, so I hope she's enjoying it.
If a 13 doesn't know that word, they've been very
this
shocked.
is it. And I had this conversation with our publisher. Do we take that word out because it's in about maybe 4 times? And real teenagers swear, and if you saw a dead body, you would probably say that word too. That's the kind of the way, or maybe worse. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
The thing is, though, as a teenager, you have your teenager words that you use with your friends and at school, and then you have the words that you use in front of your mum. And I'm in my 30s, and if I swear in front of my mum, I still feel guilty. And she gives us a funny look, and she tells me to stop using not bad language. And then we get in the whole, well, that just means I'm a creative person debate. But you just, you have a different voice for different people.
You do, and I think that's part of learning how to speak in different registers, isn't it? And different audiences. Like when kids used to swear at school, part of me used to think, because I used to be a primary school teacher, like, it's not necessarily a case of don't swear, it's don't let me catch you, hear you swearing, Like, you've got to learn.
Yeah.
I always told my teens in the library, like, I don't care what you say, just don't say it negatively toward another person in the room. Doesn't bother me, but don't cuss out that kid. I
agree completely. And don't use the word if you don't know what it means.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you use it inappropriately...
I did have 2 year 5 boys call each other douchebags, and the best way to get them to stop saying it was to explain what it meant. I gave them both a dictionary and just said, just look it up. And I saw the moment that they got to it and they were like, I'm never saying that again. I was like, yes, you did just call yourself like the word for, washing lady parts.
Yes.
No, honestly, I think
do use that word.
It does give you power, doesn't it, to know the meaning of words? And I think a lot of people don't necessarily use words very responsibly.
When I was in middle school, I had my clique of friends, and we had the worst mouths ever. But we would get in trouble for it, so we got out a thesaurus and found a word that was similar to what we were using, and then looked up something else for it, and then looked up another term. So we were like 6 steps removed, calling each other the worst names possible. But it was like, I'm calling you a bucket, and you don't know what that, no one else knows what that means. And I'm like, did they just call each other a bucket? Like, yeah, but that's bad.
I adore that. That's amazing. That's clever, though.
Oh, I wish I had that list still. That's so.
It does sound like the subject matter of a book. Like if that list got into the wrong hands, like what? Like mischief somebody could do.
Girls.
It is kind of like an alternate burn book, isn't it?
It was not good. Yeah, we had lots of words for people that.
To be fair, though, I'm sure I sent your birthday card to you and addressed it to the C word.
You did. You did. And
Can you imagine how many hands that went through when somebody was like, "What is this?" Why would you do that?
It was in the box.
So it wasn't on the envelope.
It wasn't on the label. Okay. It was on the envelope, but the envelope put into the box.
Okay, that's maybe slightly.
And then wrapped up.
I still have that envelope
Colin the
too.
Caterpillar cakes.
Yep.
On the Caterpillar
Not
and
custard.
Other things that start with C's.
He didn't exist. Genuine M&S Colin the Caterpillar cakes. Other Caterpillar cakes are available. That's so excessively British.
It is, and that's why we have the t-shirt that goes along with it. Oh my gosh. So what else? What else do we need to talk about that's not excessively
We need to go into
British?
the mansion. Let us open the doors to the mansion of the McCaw.
Yes.
Which room are you heading in first? Which room are you working in?
So I decided that I would like to go in a room that is not in the book, but because I'm the author, I chose to write a book, a new room. So I did kind of understand where you're going with the making your own story. If you can hear a little song at the minute, that's my Nightmare Before Christmas clock singing in the background. So I'm sorry about that. Nice. It's playing This Is Halloween. So yeah, I've decided to invent a new room to the accompaniment of Nightmare Before Christmas, the Silence of the Lambs room, because I feel like having a Hannibal Lecter in the corner to kind of taunt and puzzle the guests and not let them through unless they could answer his insidious and evil questions, I think would be really fun. So that's the room. That's the room I'd go into, but I don't want to work in there because I don't think I could pull off Hannibal Lecter.
What about Buffalo Bill? Could you do the Could you do the dance
Maybe.
in front of the camera?
What's the line? He puts the lotion on his skin or else he gets the hose again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that film is in. Yeah, and actually I'm thinking there could be so much scope for that room, isn't there? I'm not thinking enough about it. There needs to be a well in the middle of the room as well that some unsuspecting like tour goer has to climb down the inside of the well and be taunted by everybody. So yeah, that's room I'd like to visit. Room I'd like to work in. I'm gonna have to think a little bit about. So what room would you like to visit, you two? You can make one up or take one of mine, you know. I'm all ears.
My favorite horror movie of all time is Candyman.
Yes.
So I know that Candyman was mentioned, but there was, I don't know if he has a specific room, but that's where I'm going. I'm climbing through the mirror into the graffitied, scary mouth. Just, you know, can there be fake bees instead of real bees? Because
that's why that room.
Save the bees.
That's why that room. What I was thinking whether it was going to be an It room or a Candyman room, and I couldn't figure out the bees apart from playing a really inane, annoying buzzing sound that maybe of that pitch that really hurts human ears. Like that could work, but yeah, a Candyman room would be awesome. And I haven't watched that film for the longest time. I feel like I need to watch it again.
Oh, I just love it so much. It's so good.
I'm looking at my DVDs and seeing if I've got inspiration.
I would also like to be in an It room. I really like It. Anything Stephen King, I like Stephen
King. I think I've thought of the answer. I would like to work in, similar to one of your early answers, the Dracula room, because I'd love to work alongside somebody in the full Gary Oldman outfit and to wear one of the meaner corset, glamorous, draped across the whole floor of the room. I think would be pretty cool. And I think I'd like the long dark wig and the whole Winona Ryder bit. I just hit my microphone in emphasis, but yes. That's how much I care about Winona Ryder.
That movie. I
want the t-shirt. I want her t-shirt so much.
I want there to be so many t-shirts.
There needs to be merch.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's a couple of people. So I have some people who've done fan art. Somebody read the first page of the book and an illustrator decided to illustrate a tiny bitey Mina, which was just brilliant, and wrote a poem about a little girl who bites Billy White, as Mina does on the first page of the book. And a girl who is into Mina, Zoe, she made some Mina bracelets with little fangs on. But yeah, I would love there to be t-shirts. I really want an Empire of the Dead t-shirt. I want a Mansion Macabre t-shirt, and I want a Mina hand-painted t-shirt. I'm a bit incensed that I don't have the artistic ability to make that happen, but maybe one of you does. I don't know.
I actually thought about it. I thought about, like, do I have a shirt that I could paint Amina on, and could I do it like Lucas's Justice? You know, because it's got to be good.
You've got to outlive your handprint. You can't outlive your art as well.
That's the good thing, isn't it, with books, that I can have him be the best artist and like not have to prove it at all. I can just say that he's good and leave it there. Yeah, my friend wrote next to that bit when she did the critique of my book, she wrote, like vampires, ? And then when he dies, she just was like, she wrote, oh, dead, forget my vampire comment. And I was like, I love reading people's like ongoing feedback of my book is really good because I do quite a few fake outs. I really enjoyed seeing people's reactions like, why would you do that to sweet innocent Lucas? Why would you kill him? Like, because he's evil.
Because he's actually terrible.
Yeah, I know, and I enjoyed.
I was quite happy when he died. Is that wrong of me?
No, you can be happy. You can despise my most beloved character. It's fine.
I don't despise him. I just thought he was a bit moody. I was like,
he is moody.
I'm a bit over that.
Yeah, he's very like Kurt Cobain, the kind of deep and like the 90s. Well, he is basically Basketball Diaries Leonardo DiCaprio, you know.
I was getting a Leonardo DiCaprio look for it, and you see, he went against my interview with a vampire Leova for it because, you know, I was like, right, well, this character is John is obviously Lestat, Wayne is obviously Louis, so I'm like, we can't have those, and you've got homage to Armand, and Jared's Christian Slater, so I was doing all these more. I was like, he doesn't go with it. He needs to go. Oh, he's dead. Yes.
It's so funny though how you did that. Like you imposed into vampire characters on them. I didn't think that at all when I was writing it, but apart from the Armand reference. And one of my friends went through and Buffy referenced the heck out of the whole book. Like literally everything I did, she was like, Buffy reference, Buffy reference, Buffy reference. And I love that people have done that. Like, whatever your favorite thing is, like, people, I guess you could probably do it with Dracula too. You could impose a Dracula fascination over the whole book, like from Mina's name to, you know, other stuff that happens.
I do feel sorry for Wayne / Armand being in that tent all day waiting for Mina. And then he's like, all right, she's gone. Sun's
Like, what do I do now? I just gotta sit here and wait for the sun to go down.
And it's not as if he can pull out his mobile and like search his social media for a few hours or play a Candy Crush.
No, you've just got to.
You've just got to sit there.
Just got to read fortunes and hope that people give you that sweet money for it.
Just playing solitaire. Yeah.
I played so much solitaire and Minesweeper when I was at university. Like, write an essay, play Minesweeper on my rubbish computer.
I'm rubbish at Minesweeper. I played solitaire all the time just to get the cards to bounce around on my screen and stare at it for ages and ages and ages. Which reminds me, I found my dissertation the other day and it's on floppy disk.
Wow. Impressed. That's very 90s.
And I'll get wrong off Amanda for telling you what it's about, so I'm not going to say.
Do you know, my dissertation was about balancing human rights and the freedom of expression of the press. It was quite cool. I did a law degree, which I've not used at all.
Mine was about the antecedents of Dracula.
Oh!
There you go.
Brilliant.
Technically it's appropriate, so I'm allowed to mention.
I wish that I had been able to write. I should have tried to find a vampire angle for my dissertation, really.
English degree.
I didn't have to write anything like that for any of my degrees. I had to do portfolios for my master's degree in library science with just like a compilation of all of the library programs that I would ever want to do ever. So that was just fun.
That sounds really entertaining, actually. That much better than current hell.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, youth services librarian. You gotta entertain those teenagers.
Did you like make a puppet and then like insert it into the folder and like, there you go? That would be fun.
No, because it was digital.
I felt like this would be a moment for my Spike and Angel puppet, but I'm scared that if I stand up, like everything's going to fall off my desk. So I'll show you those at some point. I do have Spike and Angel looking at me from that. Although I don't think there wasn't a Spike puppet, but some company made one, and I, of course, purchased it.
Of course.
Please send us.
I will. They are ridiculous. They're looking down at me like right now, and Angel's like slumped in his box, so he looks particularly like angry with me.
Oh.
Okay, so I have a question that is very, very book specific.
Okay.
What late 80s, early 90s jam are you going to dance to when the judges are watching you in the dance?
See, I really struggled with this, and I did end up cheating and messaging my husband like, what song do I like? Like, you know, when you ask that question and you suddenly can't think of a single song from the 80s or 90s.
Where's my mixtape?
I know, like...
Oh, Scully, you've let the team down.
Mixtape, like mix CD. And he said the perfect song. So he said, Kiss from a Rose, from Batman Forever, by Seal. And I was like, that would be like the perfect degree of cheese, wouldn't it? And like, you can just imagine Jared and Mina dancing to that. Did you spot the song they are actually dancing to, by the way? Can you remember?
I don't.
So they were dancing to a song about a Transylvanian concubine from a Buffy episode, which is what Spike and Drew danced to in, I want to say, it was season 2. I don't remember the episode name. But yeah, it's Transylvanian Concubine by Rasputina. So that was the actual song. Rasputina are, you know, in my book. Like you do.
I am useless at music. Absolutely pathetic.
See, that's,
I do not know names.
That's fine.
Anything.
Well, see, there are even some Buffy references that you did not get. I feel quite special now. But yeah, so Seal, Kiss from the Rose, which I did steal from my husband Kev, so thank you for that when he listens to this later. And you said about one that I would sing on karaoke as well. My first instinct was Pat Benatar. I feel like I could belt out some Hit Me With Your Best Shot or something like that. But actually, Kids of America, if we're going like 80s, 90s movies, although Clueless wasn't out when my book was set, I think that Kids of America would be a fun one to sing badly at karaoke, which would be inevitable if I was singing it.
Yeah.
How about you two? What would you sing or dance to?
I mean, I feel like it's really funny that you mentioned Seal. Like, I bought the Batman Forever soundtrack for my husband, like, as a joke. And for the longest time, neither of us have a vehicle that has a CD player in it anymore. But that for the longest time, that's what was in the CD player. And we would always listen to Seal. So I just love that's where you went, and that's all I ever wanted to be now, and I can't believe that I didn't even think about that.
I'm really glad that we had this weird moment there. That's awesome.
Right?
Controversially, that is my Batman film of choice because it was the one that I watched growing up. Like, I think I appreciate the Tim Burton ones now, but I think that Batman Forever, like Nicole Kidman, is kind of my icon in a lot of ways. Like, I think I kind of want to be Nicole Kidman, really. Like, especially Moulin Rouge, Nicole Kidman, pretty much.
Oh my God! At Moulin Rouge, that was our wedding.
Wow.
We did Moulin Rouge at our wedding. Okay. Yes.
Mint. I haven't seen Moulin Rouge in so long.
It's so sad and so good. We went to Secret Cinema in London. It's one of my favourite things to do, to go to Secret Cinema.
You've done Secret Cinema?
Yes, we went. Really so we went to the Back to the Future one, which is probably my favourite, where they built the clock tower and projected the film onto the clock tower. It was excellent. And we went to the Dirty Dancing one, which was slightly cringy because they kind of encourage you to dance. I was like, I don't really dance much, but okay, I'll do it for Dirty Dancing. I'll do it.
You got to do the bump and grind.
That was really pretty much what everybody was doing. It was slightly uncomfortable to watch, but yeah. And then we did the Moulin Rouge one, and the Moulin Rouge was just incredible. So they built this street that was France in whatever decade Moulin Rouge is set, that I slipped my mind. And they built all the scaffolding up the street that was like wooden trellises, and the cast would at points just climb up around you and just sing down onto you on the street. And the whole, like, hundreds of us were just singing the songs together. It was like epic.
I'm desperate to go to one, and we contemplated like saying, should we do it? Should we do it? Should we do it? Pandemic.
Yeah, that happened to a lot of things last year. Like, so many plans. My poor brother is on his 4th wedding date. I'm hoping that this one's September in Italy. They've got this beautiful vineyard booked in Italy, so crossing my fingers that we can actually go. So yeah,
there's so many people. Talking to Jackson Ford, and his sister's wedding was put off loads by it. Friends of ours, I've got a friend who's like, no, screw it's happening. We want to get married. We've had a child now unexpectedly. We just want to be married.
I think a lot of people get. I don't know whether they will get to that point, but hopefully by September we might actually be able to get on a plane.
I have everything crossed for you.
Thank
you.
I
really do.
Yeah, really.
No, sorry, just bring the tone down with the pandemic again. Come on, like vampire energy.
You're doing a really good job, because you're giving me a chance to actually remember what songs came out in the 80s and 90s.
Okay, so just go through the late 80s and 90s while I'm rambling on. That's fine.
That's fine. To be fair, I mean, 80s and 90s music's my jam, but I can't really remember any of them. I should probably just look at my Spotify. I do have a playlist that's 80s is my jam. Can't beat. Probably my karaoke song would be "Don't Speak" by No Doubt.
It's such a good choice, yeah.
Because I don't have to have an actual singing skill to pull that one off.
That song is so good. Like, you know, in certain songs you hear the title of it and you feel compelled to start singing it immediately. Like, I can feel it like rising up inside me. I'm trying to like keep it down.
Go for it.
I've got to hold it back. So I'm going to embarrass myself. But yeah, that is one of those songs. I had the single, and yeah, I listened to it quite a few times. Even when I hear it now, I get those feels.
I'm so glad, by the way, you got the Alanis Morissette references in there as well. Thank you very much, because Jagged Little Pill was the soundtrack to my teenage years.
And now that you're saying No Doubt, I'm like, what year did that album come out? Like, I think it was like
1995.
Yeah, see, I think that I could probably crowbar some No Doubt into the next book. I think it has to happen.
Yeah,
it really does.
It needs to happen.
And the song to dance to, I'm gonna go stereotypical. I'm really sorry, but considering I watched this movie yesterday and it's one of the greatest endings in a movie ever, it has to be Guns N' Roses' "Sympathy for the Devil." Because the way I get tingles thinking I love Tom Cruise. I am unashamedly in love Tom Cruise, and he does the right movies. I'm sorry, it's just amazing. I don't need to see trailers. I'll go watch wherever he does. But the way that he just suddenly rears up from the back seat of the car, rips Christian Slater's neck out, gets into the car, puts "Sympathy for the Devil" on, and then just pulls the cuffs. Oh,
so good.
And he's an absolute asshole, and I fucking love it.
So good.
So, yeah.
See, the song that I was going to pick to sing and or dance to, Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yes.
Also good, and also urban legend reference where isn't she the girl
Right.
who somebody's in the
Yes.
backseat of a car, she's
Yes.
singing along to that. So yeah, good horror movie reference too.
Yes.
Nice.
I love urban legends so much.
Could do Enter Sandman as well. That was out then. Just to be really ancient, Metallica are ancient as well. So
Yeah. They're probably vampires.
See, my husband recommended
Wonderful.
the song Can't Buy Me Love because that's one of my favourite 80s films. And I was like, you do realise that that's by the Beatles. It's from the 1960s. So you're only 20 years off, but don't worry about it. But yeah, a good song and film. If you haven't watched it, Patrick Dempsey, like baby Patrick Dempsey, so cute.
Oh, he is. He's adorable. Do you know what we haven't said as a karaoke song? Living on a Prayer.
Yeah, that is.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a
I
good
don't
one
know what
too.
it's like in the US for Amanda, but whenever you go to pre-pandemic times, any kind of wedding, engagement, birthday party, there's a legal. It's like some kind of like subclause in British law that Living on a Prayer has to be played at least once, and it has to be that peak time where everybody's just a happy kind of drunk, and then the dance floor just fills up and everybody's jumping. It's like a polite mosh pit.
Oh, okay.
Also, when I was growing up, so there's that song, and then it would usually be followed by either Wonderwall or Don't Look Back in Anger by Oasis, and everybody arms around each other's shoulders, like sway. I think that was like after you've passed the happy moment and you're into the kind of, I'm really tired, I need to go home, so I'm going to lean on these strangers for support moment.
Proud Mary.
Yeah.
Tina Turner.
Oh, that's a good one too.
It's the best music, isn't it, that just puts you in a moment. Like when you said Total Eclipse of the Heart, I didn't think of anything nice. I was like, murder scene in urban legend. Like, I love that about music. It can transport you to like other media, so it can transport you to films, but also like moments in your life. It's really great.
It's brilliant. I wish I was better at remembering music titles and lyrics and stuff like that. I'm absolutely rubbish because then I could probably associate it a bit more. But then I hear something and go, that!
See, I'm quite niche with music. I haven't moved on, so I listen to bands like Blink-182, Green Day, and like Guns N' Roses. The same stuff I listened to in the sort of late 90s to early 2000s. I haven't advanced. All American Rejects, all that
Same.
kind of band. So when people ask me what current music, I'm like, Blink-182. I don't care that they split up like decades ago. Or I know they're back together now or whatever, but I kind of don't count that.
Yeah, I don't think I could name any song that would be playing on a radio now.
No, I put music on, I put Kerrang on because I feel like at least I'll heard of some of the music.
I don't even have the music channels anymore. I got rid of all of that. If I put anything on to listen to, it's an audiobook.
Same. I don't have any form of radio like in my car. I don't know like local stations or anything like that because I've always got an audiobook on. Yeah, we have like satellite radio in my husband's car, and it's always either lithium, which is 90s grunge, or the 80s or 90s. That's what we flip between.
The most modern music I listen to is Frank Turner, and he is grunge/punk. And his last album was all about like infamous women of the world, and it was brilliant. And I've seen him live a few times.
Never heard of him. I'm gonna have to check him out. You had me at grunge/punk.
Fantastic.
Can I just cut in here and
Yes.
say that we only told Amy that we were going to keep her for an hour and a half, and we're very like closely encroaching on that, and we haven't talked about vampire pop culture like
Let's get into that.
at all.
It's fine if we go a little bit over.
So we need to spend at least 10 minutes talking about our favorite vampires on TV and in movies. The hottest vampire of all time.
Can
all
I
of these
can I
things.
give a vampire confession?
Are you going to upset us?
You know Dracula 2000, where Jared Butler's Dracula?
Yeah.
I really love that movie.
You. I watched it recently.
And I can see it right over the computer monitor. I absolutely adore that movie, and it's unrepentant.
It is sort of so bad it comes back round somewhere near to good,
Thank
maybe. I watched it when it came out in 2000. It was like, that's the worst vampire film I've ever watched. Rewatched it recently and went, actually, I kind of appreciate it now for what it is. Like some of the scenes,
Exactly.
like there's a scene on a plane, isn't there, where like the ship coming into the harbour is actually a plane full of dead bodies. And I thought, yeah, actually, I like that. That's really cheery. That's a nice modern interpretation of a dead ship. We've got dead plane instead.
Exactly. And why does Van Helsing have to take the vampire blood? That goes against everything that Van Helsing would do. It's ridiculous. And I just love it. I love it. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry. I love that movie. I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to watch it. That's my evening tomorrow.
I like the...
I was going to ask, are you going to watch it? Are you going to watch it right now?
Yeah, bye.
I don't know. I like the fact that I did laugh when I saw Van Helsing was taking blood. I just kept shaking my head and laughing and stuff like that. You've got to like a film that you can do the despairing tut as you're watching it.
Oh, exactly. I'm checking my shelf to see what other embarrassing vampire stuff I've got as well. It's not too bad. Queen of the Damned.
I love the way she walks. The top half of her body doesn't move and the bottom half is just all over the place. It's my favorite part of that movie. And that's not a good thing.
I can't get past that it's the wrong Lestat. And when I'm always really cross when I type in Lestat, trying to find a GIF and Lestats I don't acknowledge come up. Tom Cruise is Lestat.
He is.
And I never thought I'd say those words. I like Tom Cruise films, but I just wouldn't have thought when you see his other films, that part is just, he's perfect.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a chameleon. In the 90s, he was a chameleon actor. And he could pull off so many different things. I can't say, I kind of would love for them to redo them. Dare I say it? I'm sick of remakes.
Yeah,
now.
they are supposedly. There's Interview with the Vampire in production, because at one point I thought my book was going to come out at a similar time to it, and I was like, wow, timing, synchronicity. But it's done that thing where it's been lingering on an Internet Movie Database for the last 3 years, so I don't think they're in any rush to remake it. But
yeah, I probably would prefer it as a TV series than an actual
I think
movie,
that's what it is.
Could probably do it a bit more justice, and they can cover a lot more in the series as well. Brad Pitt's a terrible actor, though. I'm going to put that out there.
I knew you were going to say something controversial during this. Oh man, have you watched Fight Club?
Yeah, he's a terrible actor, but I'll still watch him. Do you know what? I'm raging at the moment. I've just finished the Kendara Blake Mortal Gods. So we read Anti-Goddess a couple of weeks ago, and then it was Mortal Gods and then Ungodly. Is that the right order, Amanda?
Yes.
And I just finished the series this morning, and every time Achilles in it is an absolute arsehole. I mean, he is the ultimate arsehole. He's not even redeemable. He's just a dick. But I can't help but picture little Brad Pitt, and so at the moment I'm actually raging against Brad Pitt because he was an absolute arsehole as Achilles in this book. Because that's what
Brad, come on.
I know, he's hard done by. I'm sorry, not sorry.
It's a shame. That's a shame. Can I tell you guys one of my favorite vampire movies that's I feel like no one ever talks about is Daybreakers with Willem Dafoe and Ethan Hawke.
Yes. Yeah, actually, I'm going through the recess of memory. I think I saw that at the cinema. I did see that at cinema. I can't remember what year it was. Was it early 2000s, maybe?
2009.
Oh, not that early.
No.
Yeah, I just had to look it up. But I liked that one. I have a weird thing about Willem Dafoe. I really want his painting from Spider-Man on my wall. I don't know. I get attached to really weird things from movies, so...
Well, you can see my room behind me. I completely relate. I am a bit of a hoarder when it comes to merchandise and memorabilia. Within reach, at this any one moment, I can show you a weird object. Here's my severed hand.
Oh,
crystal ball. That. Here is my Malpus, I think they're called. My whole room is full of this stuff. Yeah. Let's talk about vampires. We're getting off topic again.
Yes, let's talk about vampires.
Okay, so that's your weird, sorry not sorry vampire movie confession. Amy, what's your sorry not sorry?
Do you know what? I don't think mine are that bad. I thought the Buffy the Vampire Slayer film was pretty, it's not as good as the series. I will not
have a bad word said against that.
Yeah, I know. So that's why I don't think I really have one. My top vampire films are that, and The Lost Boys, and Interview the Vampire. And there's one I'm missing. What is the other one? Oh, and Dracula, of course. The Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Winona Ryder, Gary Oldman dream of a film. Yeah, so I don't know. I tend
So
to
many issues
the
with that
scary
movie.
vampires I'm less drawn to. So like the 30 Days of Night kind of almost zombie-esque vampires that have lost their marbles because they're so bent on blood. I'm less interested in that than the kind of Eric and Damon vampire who will kind of tear your head off and drink your blood, but they're still really sexy.
Yes. Oh.
So if we take Interview out, because we obviously know you love Interview,
Yes.
you love Lestat, you love Louis and
Yeah.
all them. If we take them
Yeah.
out of the picture for book vampires, which book vampire are we going for? You can include the Vampire Diaries because they're originally from the book.
Yes, okay. You've done it there. Okay, so my favourite vampire, I would say, in the book, in the 90s, when I was a little innocent teenage girl, I liked Angel, therefore I liked Stefan. And I think when you're in your early teens, they're quite safe, aren't they? Because, you know, they probably won't hurt you and they might be okay to bring home and meet your mum. But now, from like mid-teens onwards, it was Damon and then Spike by extension, not a book, but it's a comic, so maybe you'll allow it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It counts. Yeah,
It counts.
count them.
Do you read it? Yes.
Yeah, I have a whole shelf of them right there. So yeah. Yeah, so books, Damon, without a doubt. And my vampire story is that I have met Ian Somerhalder a couple of times. And I did a coffee lounge with him where we sat in a little circle in a room and drank coffee. I won't tell you how much I paid for the ticket because it was raffle tickets. You were meant to buy a raffle ticket. I may have bought 100 raffle tickets. But I got to sit in a room with Ian Somerhalder, and of course he talked about nature and like saving the world and all the women in the room. Because it was all, you know, there weren't any boys in the room. The convention, it was a vampires convention, and I think my husband was one of the only men in the building, apart from those two guys. And yeah, we just talked. He was talking about like saving the planet and oil being, you know, destroying nature and you know all this stuff. And I just couldn't. Like, I'm just thinking, your eyes are so pretty. You're talking about really sensible things. I just want to stare at his eyes are just like they look on screen, but times a million.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, it's like proper Paul Newman kind of.
Yeah, he's definitely got that kind of, and I think that Book Damon, he is so much better because he is Ian Somerhalder and he's got that charisma. And I love the fact the vampires I like are mainly Spike, Eric, Damon, and I think they all tread that knife edge of humanity where you think that they're a suitable boyfriend and they're kind of, you know, like Eric, there was that whole season of True Blood where he's a good guy and has forgotten his like dark roots, and then when they remember and they snap, they break your little brother's neck or they, you know, kill your best friend and stuff like that. And I really like that's where vampires are interesting to me, like that they can go both ways. Being a vampire shouldn't be too easy or fun. It should have that dark blood, you know, bloody cost, I think.
I never understand why movie and book vampires waste so much blood. And this happens a lot in True Blood. They're having a drink, you know, it's an evening meal, they're having a bit of a sip of a vein, and there's just blood spurting everywhere, and it's like, you don't do that when you're sitting there eating your sandwich and let the cheese and everything fall out. I mean, if it does, you're like, oh, pants. And you go back for it, but it's like...
You eat the floor cheese, don't you? You don't
everywhere.
kind of let the cheese...
5 second rule. 5 second rule.
Yeah, you're probably not going to lick the blood off the floor, but you will eat the floor cheese.
Yeah. Yeah, that first scene of True Blood, isn't
cheese.
it? I know. I said some things. You're going to have so many quotes from me after this. Amy does eat the floor cheese, but does not lick the floor blood. That's where she draws the line.
You don't know the notes I've been taking. It's on.
Yeah, so I think, and yeah, that first scene of True Blood where Eric kills somebody, and yeah, it is he's drenched in blood, such a waste, and he just sort of says, "Oh, that's my highlights ruined." Like,
oh, so good.
I remember when we watched the casting like being released for True Blood, and I was like, I don't know if that's my Eric Northman. I like his chest though.
You can't. Alexander Skarsgård can, like, he's perfect. He's perfect.
Oh,
in every
he completely
way.
is. I didn't know who he was at the time though. He hadn't really made any dent in the UK market. But as soon as I saw True Blood, I was like,
Yeah.
We are reading Vampire Academy on the podcast, and we are doing it once a month. have you read the series?
I have. I had this conversation with Amanda because I wanted to check I wasn't going to spoiler it for you.
Right, okay, bear in mind, if needs be, I will take the earphones out, but I'm going to ask you a very important question.
I stopped reading it after a point that made me angry, and you are at that point, so we're okay.
We're all right.
Yeah, we're past that now.
What's your thoughts and feelings on Adrian?
I've only read, I think, Amanda will tell me, how many books have I read, Amanda? Have I read 2 or 3?
I think you've just read 3. You stopped after the cabin scene.
So Dimitri went evil, and I've forgotten the word for it because it was that long ago. Is it Strigoi?
Strigoi.
And I threw the Kindle down in disgust and said, I'm never reading another Vampire Academy book again. How dare you? And I didn't pick it up again. And like literally that must have been 10 years ago. So I hold a grudge for a long time. I probably need to pick it up and like let that go.
I know a podcast that can bring you up to speed very quickly.
Yeah, I think probably.
At least up to book 4, because that's all.
Yeah, maybe I need to just listen to the podcast for that one and then pick up the books, because maybe I can let it go so many years on.
You could. You can read the summaries too, because they're.
Yeah, I think I need to do that.
But Adrian, where's your thoughts on Adrian? Because
I don't remember Adrian, so that's...
She doesn't know Adrian. She doesn't know Adrian how I know Adrian.
That means that Adrian doesn't make a dent, and I'm right.
I'm really sorry. I remember Rose and her blonde friend from the film, which I watched it recently. And what are your thoughts on the actor who played Dimitri in the film?
He's a doughy motherfucker. He is not Dimitri. I feel like every single time it's just he's
every
doughy.
episode we say how that actor is not.
I thought I recalled this from a previous conversation. I thought I'd just stir you up again. But yeah, as I was watching it, because my husband really likes the girl who plays Rose, and I think she's great, and she kind of is sort of what I imagined. And then Dimitri comes on, and I was like, oh, this is the guy that I was building up to be, a counter to her. And no, he just kind of...
For a person who's actually Russian.
I know. How can his Russian accent be so bad? How can he be so bad? I looked it up afterwards, like, tell me that this is an American or English actor playing No. It's really confusing.
He looks better now when he's in Viking because he looks a bit rugged.
Okay, I haven't seen him in Viking.
IMDb him. The picture of him with a fish on one of his pictures is weird, and he's done a rom-com which is just wrong. It's all Russian, but then he's in Viking at the moment, and he looks rough, and you kind of go, yeah, I can see Dimitri there.
So why did they do that? Why did we get kind of doughy, fake Russian Dimitri?
It's weird.
Every time we say doughy, I kind of think Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
So do I. It makes it worse.
That's what he looks like. Like, he's not... He's got muscles, but it's not like... It's not defined. And I feel like, Dimitri... And I've said this, too, every time. Even in the episode that just came out. All I imagine in my head is Jared Padalecki. Even though... It's not the same time, like now, reading it now, that's who I see as Dimitri, because he's giant, and he's got beautiful hair, and I just love him. So, doughy Dimitri is not, he does not.
Does it help if I haven't met Jared Padalecki, I've seen him in real life at Comic-Con.
I gave him a high five at the Seattle Marathon.
Did you? Excellent. See, I didn't get that close, I just stared at him on a panel on the stage. Yeah. Oh, you've touched his hand. That's cool.
I have.
I had a picture.
So I have a picture.
Oh, you did a picture with him. I was going to say I have a picture with Jensen Ackles. I have a picture with Jensen Ackles, but I did not get a picture with Jared Padalecki. I'm still a bit sore about that. He cancelled.
I have a picture of them, like they're running up. It's toward the finish line of the marathon, and you can see someone else's hand in the picture. And I just think he did not touch your hand. He passed over your hand and touched my hand. Speaking of them, though, do you do Gish? Do you know what Gish is?
I don't.
The greatest international scavenger hunt. It used to be the greatest international scavenger hunt the world has ever seen. No. And Misha Collins does it, and he gets all the supernatural guys involved. You should join our Gish team, because we do it.
That sounds fun. Every year. Anything that you just said Misha Collins, I'm like, yes, I'm there. I even bought his cookbook. Yes. That's how dedicated I am to Misha Collins. Yeah.
It's a huge charity thing, so you just grab a team.
It is. All of the money goes to good causes. Cool. They do a lot of work. All of the tasks in the scavenger hunt can pretty much take place anywhere you are. They do have a couple of like local or like weirdly specific place things, but it's worldwide, and they do a lot of good stuff. Like this task is donate socks to a homeless shelter. You know, it's
That's really cool.
Kindness.
They have mini gish as well for the kids, don't they? So you
yes.
can get kiddies involved. Like all they need to do is like write a letter or draw a picture or look at leaves or arrange things in size order. So you can. It's for everybody.
Just thinking, I could do baby gish. Like, which ones can baby get involved with?
There's loads of baby gish ones.
It's really delightful.
You need to get.
I've done it for several years, and I made Claire do it with me last year. So
that sounds really fun.
I don't know how I did it last year, but I did. I'm still very proud of the stop motion animation I did. That's one of the best ones.
I'd love to be able to do that. I did it with the kids at school, and I was so rubbish. Like my little dinosaurs jumped like across the screen. You know, you're meant to really slow and patient. I am not slow and patient.
I cheated. I used my phone, set it up, and took individual and just took a picture and then set my phone to record and then just swiped across, and then that was it. Because that's the only way I could figure to do it.
That's cheating.
It's still
just a little bit, but yeah.
I took a picture of every single one. I didn't move it. The plant did grow.
It's true, it did. But I've done weird stuff, like I baked a pair of shoes to wear, so it was bread feet, and
I thought you meant actual baked shoes, and I was a bit worried, like, what is this challenge?
No. I dressed up as an ass butt.
Okay.
Like a donkey butterfly downtown in Seattle, like wearing a donkey mask with butterfly wings.
What was the butterfly one you did where it was a bored butterfly or something like that?
An antisocial butterfly.
That's it.
Yeah, I did an antisocial butterfly. I had last year I had evergreen eyebrows.
Yes.
And I painted my own face on my stomach.
Wow.
It's good. It's good. They're terrible. Everything about it is terrible and great at the same time. So you should really join.
I don't think I can paint my own face anywhere, let alone on my own stomach. But that was awesome.
It's terrible.
Anything like that, all you can hear is Amanda going, challenge.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking that.
Yeah. On board. Anything cosplay or body painting? Yes.
I love that.
Please.
Can we have one quick discussion about cosplay? 2-minute discussion about cosplay. Who did you think Amanda could be from the book? Because there was a lot of discussion. I know we've already mentioned Veronica.
Yeah.
And we've already mentioned Heather.
Yeah, see,
R.I.P.
my instinct was Veronica, because I just saw you with the long blonde wig with like some sort of intricate plait and blood soaking the ends of the wig. That was kind of what I imagined. But I do like the idea of Heather in the attic with the blood. I think it's quite fun. I think you would make that really artistic. And I'd also like to see your hand-painted Mina t-shirt, I think.
I just need to have that anyway.
Yeah, I think we all need to have that.
No
like,
pressure.
you need to, I would buy one of those, like, in a second. A Mina t-shirt with, yeah.
Share with us your address. We'll send
Yay!
you treasures.
I want to join in this, like, sending packages, like, UK, US, I am there. I will do it. Any books you want, take your pick from the shelf behind me, or I'll buy you some even new ones.
Ooh.
That's one book I cannot send you. I'm not sending you Kat's book, because I will be killed. But yeah, Kat would, like disown me as a fellow author. I would be like blacklisted, I think, if I sent that anywhere.
I'm just upset that she hasn't sent us one anyway.
I think it was kind of like a, maybe you read it and you like it, I could do an author quote thing. I think that's what it was. So yeah, quite a lot of people messaged me like, how did you get that? I'm like, wrote a book this year. I think that's the only reason I got it.
To do, write book, get art.
Yes.
Solid.
Yes. So we need to wrap it up now. What are you currently reading and watching and listening to?
So I have 10% left of Wicked Little Deeds by Kat Ellis.
Oh man, stop.
I know, I'm really sorry. I can't stop talking about it because I'm just so happy with myself. Like, I've peaked. Honestly, when I got that message, I was like, of all the things I've done as an author, I think this is one I'm most excited about, and it's somebody else's book. But yeah, so that I am having a lot of fun reading, and I mentioned, I don't know whether we talked beforehand or during the podcast, I'll say it again. I've just read The Last Girl by Goldie Moldavsky, which is really cool. It's called the Mary Shelley Club in America. And in terms of what I'm watching, I was trying to think of like some cool answer to give you. And actually, I need some spooky, dark, gothic series to watch. I've got a great gaping hole where I need something like that. But I am watching thrillers and serial killer films at the minute. I'm quite into those. And 90s, I've watched I Know What You Did Last Summer and Urban Legend pretty recently. So I'm feeling the 90s slasher films because The Last Girl references quite a few of them. I had a bit of a thirst for them after I read that. I keep saying watched it because it's so cinematic, and I think it is being made into a movie. In terms of what I'm listening to, I'm still in the early 2000s. So I listen to like Blink-182, Green Day, as I mentioned, and I'm listening to the soundtrack of Moana and Frozen on repeat because a 14-year-old now I've just aged him. 14-month-old boy, that is all he wants to listen to.
It's closer to being a vampire, it's fine.
Yes, I was about to say, you're getting him closer to turning.
And he's learned how to say gone, which means turn that song off, I don't like it, and again, play it again, which is all you need to know with I've just finished You're Welcome from Moana again. Okay, we need to hear the rock singing again.
Try AC/DC and that kind of like anything with heavy beat or heavy electric, because that's all my child listens to. Back in Black is his jam.
Really? Okay. See,
yeah.
Nathan likes Bowling for Soup, and 1985 in particular. I've tried Girls All the Bad Guys Want, and he gets halfway through that. But 1985, he grins so much when we put that on. Don't know why. And I'm hearing them talk about Prozac and stuff in the song. Like, don't learn that word. Please don't learn that. Or that word. Or that word. At some point, I'm going to have to stop, like, the point where it's copying everything, but we're not quite there yet. Yeah.
It's only a problem when you make a big deal of it. If they just think it's a word in the song,
that's true.
It's a word in the song.
That's true. But yeah, so I think none of my taste really has moved on. I'm watching 90s films, listening to 90s and early 2000s music. So if you ask me the question in 20 years, I think it will be the same answer.
I agree.
I think that's fine. I think that's very fitting.
Yeah, and dedicated, obviously that's why I wrote the book I wrote. I love the 90s. I love vampires and scary things. So, yes.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Well, this has been one of my anticipated books of the year.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I'm so excited to read it. And I have 2 copies because I never cancelled my pre-order.
Thank you so much.
Well, hello.
It's going to be sent over to Amanda when I finish getting the care package together. Do you know how long it's taken me to get parcel tape? There's a pandemic going on, I've literally just got parcel tape. So thank you very much for getting us involved in Team Mina as well. It was
definitely
super good fun. Where can our listeners catch you? Where are you on social media? What's your hashtags? What's your @s?
Okay, so I'm a split between, if it was pre-writing a book, and YA Under My Skin, because that was my blogger handle, and I read a lot of YA books. So that is me on Instagram and Twitter, and I kept that because I'm quite attached to that handle. I've had it for, maybe 6 years or something. So that's me. I'm on YouTube under Amy McCaw. I've just started a BookTube baby channel, so I think I've got like 30 followers or something. But yeah, I'm really enjoying doing that actually. From doing book events, I've realised that I actually quite like talking about books as much as I do writing the reviews of them. So, and I never thought that that'd be something I'd want to do, but doing events like this have kind of given me the confidence to do it. So yeah, I'm Amy McCaw on there. And yeah, if you just look up Amy McCaw, I think I am mainly the Amy McCaw on Google now, which I'm quite excited about. Maybe I've arrived. You will find me if you Google it. And I've got a website which has got all my pre-order links and things if you are interested.
If you ever want to come back and talk about anything that's not your book, you're always welcome.
I would love it,
because we like having friends.
I desperately want to cover Kat Ellis's book in October for our Oktoberfest, and if we could perhaps have it as a party.
Yeah.
All of our favorite.
I would love to be a part of that. And before we finish, can I just say thank you to you two as well, because I think really early on in the process, you guys got in touch with me on, I think it was Twitter, where you said, at the time I'd not heard of your amazing podcast, and you said, would you like to come on it? And the first thing I did was listen to one, because I thought, am I just agreeing to something? I'm going to really regret this. I'm going to be like chopped up and become a character in my own book. And I love your podcast. I love the relationship you two have and how you are on social media and how you talk about books. So having your support has been fantastic. And I'm glad to be part of this little club now. So thanks.
You are part of the family. You are part of the
Yeah.
Fiction Hangover family. Thank you so much, Noel.
Oh, that made my heart melt. Like, that's all I've ever wanted to hear. I finally heard it. Oh.
So thank you both.
Have you had half an emotion?
Oh, have I made you cry?
You've
I'm
given
sorry.
Amanda half an emotion.
I'm having an emotion
Quick,
right
screenshot
now. It never
everybody.
happens. Oh my gosh. Okay, thanks
Yes.
so
Yes, thank
much
you both.
for joining us and like inviting us on your journey, and just thank you.
And
Thank you
everybody
for
go
this
and check
book,
out Mina and the
everything.
Undead. If you are in the US, where a lot of our listeners are, get on the book depository, get them bought, and then it encourages the publishers to bring it over there as
It
well. You
does.
need
Yes,
support
definitely.
authors.
Thank you. It really
Yes,
helps. I mean,
that's our favorite
my
thing to
publisher is
do.
amazed at how many books are going that way. Like a lot of the numbers seem to be in the States, which is really exciting.
Excellent.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So that's it for this bonus episode of Fictional Hangover. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire.
Join us next time as we discuss The Host by Stephanie Meyer. Look out for our Would You Rather polls on social media. Don't forget about our book club and monthly challenges on Facebook. Be sure to visit our shop on Redbubble at fictionalhangover.redbubble.com for all your favorite Fictional Hangover themed merchandise. And become a patron of ours on Patreon at patreon.com/fictionalhangover. Until next time, remember, the only cure for a fictional hangover is another book.
You can find us at fictionalhangover.com, follow us on Instagram at fictionalhangover, find us on Facebook at facebook.com/fictionalhangover, and on Twitter at fictionalhangover, no ER. If you'd like this episode, check out our others and rate, review and subscribe so you don't miss out. And finally, special thanks to Liz Emerson for our music. You can find her on Facebook and Patreon. Thanks for listening.